Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. I'm here with my wonderful mystic sister, Ona from Ona's Tarot. Hi, Ona.
Hi, everything's like beautiful here in Chicago today. This
Yeah,
feels like,
we have a beautiful day as well. It started off kind of cold and rainy, and then it all went away, and now it's a beautiful day.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're really lucky this spring I think I turned my heat off in February.
Yeah. I can't say we did that yet, but but
Oh,
only at night. We only have it on at night.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then last night we actually had a fire in the fireplace. It'll be our last fire of the season. But it
yeah.
was chilly, so I said to Michael, I said, "Can we do a fire?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know, because it's a lot of work for him because he has to lug all the, for me, I just have to sit in front of a fire. It's great." But he does the manly man thing and he has to get all the wood together and stuff.
Yep.
But then he ended up making dinner and having a fire for me. So that was really sweet. But
Do are you sure it's the last time you're gonna have a fire?
inside the house probably until the fall. Yeah. It's getting warmer, so I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. We'll have some fires outside in the summer. We'll do
Yeah,
a couple of chimney fires and stuff like that. Yeah. It's
I've
good.
had
If you have the opportunity to build a fire in your home and have a hearth and if that, something you have, I think it should definitely be utilized. There's something about having the hearth burning that is very centering, I think.
Mhm.
Um, you know. So we're not here to talk about the hearth fires, although that would have been last month when we were talking about the new moon in Aries.
The Aries.
Today we're going to talk about this new moon in Taurus, which is activating your Jupiter, I believe, and my Venus. So, and my husband, Michael's Jupiter is at around 23, so of Taurus. So it's right on his Jupiter.
It has given me Jupiter's always an ammonia kind of vibe, and I did clean my windows. Was very like ammonia is gonna be the only thing that cures that overrides this. So let's do it. So I know Jupiter's been super present in this whole cycle for sure.
Well, of course, we just had the Jupiter Uranus conjunction, and that doesn't happen but every 14 years. And the last time it happened before it happens back on what was it, the 20th of April,
Yeah.
was um was like the beginning of 2010. And if we think about the changes we've been through since 2010 to 2024, and now we have another cycle of that. And it's interesting because this new moon is pretty close. The new moon is at 19 and the conjunction was at 22. So in a way, I think this new moon is probably activating that conjunction, or perhaps we get to take that transformational expansion of consciousness energy and plant a really powerful seed with this new moon in Taurus.
This is the first new moon after the eclipse, which was
Yes.
also moon. So this is like the eclipse and then the first new moon. So this is why it's so big.
Yeah. And it's just a big time because Uranus has been in Taurus since what, 2018. So there's been a lot of, and of course Uranus is land
Yeah.
and well, not Uranus, sorry, Taurus is land. And there's all these land grabs going on now with what was going on in the Ukraine and what's going on in Gaza. I mean, it's like people want the land
Yeah.
and it's not theirs. So
It's
we,
like that locally also. It's truly like that locally also, land grabs and where people can stay where they're allowed to stay, where it's safe to stay, um, that kind of thing. It's kind of tax season too, so property taxes. Wow, how all that aligns exactly into the Taurus tax season. Yeah, you're getting your return, you're making your changes in your house and stuff like that.
So, what, any good stories for this so far for this new moon?
This new moon has is definitely feels like the big like a big new moon. I found this super awesome crystals. I was like, oh, you know what? When I'm driving, sometimes it's kind of a meditative state. You can sort of there's no you can control the amount of input. And I feel like I'm like, oh, let's think about this new moon coming up. I really didn't realize it was going to be the first new moon after the eclipse. So was shopping. I had to park and I ducked into this tiny little antique store and I made two right turns into like this altar. I showed you already, but let me show you. This is the new moon altar in Taurus, in Taurus by Taurus,
Yes, in Taurus, by Taurus, as
in
heavy
Taurus
as
by Taurus,
Taurus.
for a ridiculously almost, are you sure that's priced right? Or did the price tag fall off of something else in the store for 120 bucks? And that's what the total pretty much came out to after tax. And it's just one of those things that landed in your lap and you wanted to validate that you could spend this money right now and it was
Yep.
okay to. The receipt matched the time of day numerologically. And I'm like, okay, this was a good decision.
This
So
was, yeah, yeah. I
this is
have, I used to,
personal.
I used to do that. I'd be driving around and I would get like messages for me to go into certain stores. They'd be like, go in there, you're gonna find something. I don't know who the guide was, but whoever it was, they liked to shop. And I would go in and I would always find a little something like special. And it wasn't generally expensive because I mostly couldn't afford expensive stuff. I mean, I was self-employed and had my own business. You don't have a lot of, you're not there's not a lot of extra income, as it were. Most of the extra income goes right back into
Yeah.
the business. But yeah, so that I used to do that, and I would find some pretty neat things that way. And of course, I think the crystals speak to you anyway, you know.
You know what? Yeah, and that's a lifelong thing. I've been collecting things and I recognize when something is a really good value for a long time. Since I was a kid, I collected rocks. People collected other things. That's what I collected. And I still have stuff from when I was a kid, just from like maybe gravel from, the Vatican or something that, yeah, it's, it's a, it's a museum quality collection for sure.
It reminds me, my mother, when they went on their honeymoon in Bermuda, and the sand in Bermuda is pink. And they used to have a little jar of it, like from their honeymoon, I think. And I used to like, I was so, when I was a kid, I'd be like, this is the sand from Bermuda. It was like I don't know, it's like I have yet to be in Bermuda, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's that, I don't know, it's that
yeah,
I collect rocks.
yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
It's the thing.
When I went to Sedona, I came back with, a bunch of red rocks. And somebody's like,
Yeah,
if they, but this was before 9/11 and the shoe bomber and all that stuff. So nobody really cared what you had. But I had like a bag of rocks. That's what I brought
yeah.
home from
I
Arizona.
always say it's like the best souvenir. When people ask me, like, bring me back rocks. It's something that's personal to the
Yep.
agriculture of that region,
Yeah.
and to
Yeah.
have
I,
it was like pretty cool.
when I went to Washington a couple of years ago, and was on, up by Canada and in Washington State on the island up there, Friday Harbor. I picked up some beautiful rocks right off the beach, and I have them and I remember this. I got this in Oregon. I got this here. Got this
Yeah,
there.
I
You
have some
remember?
labeled. Yeah, I'm gonna get some. We're gonna get some from Lake Michigan and do something and put them back out there for sure. But I've always had that attention for that. So this came in just the right time, and then reflecting on it on the way home and thinking, yeah, this is very much new moon is its own thing right now.
especially in Taurus, right? Especially in Taurus, because Taurus is such a basic energy. It's like survival.
Hmm.
It's what is most important to you. And I think that that might be something we can connect with in this Taurus new moon. What is it that you truly value in your life? Is it
Yeah.
your knowledge? Is it a person? Is it a relationship? Is it a house? Is it a and really sort of come to what is essential in your life, I think. And pick the one or two or three things. And I would pick either one or three because that's just the way I roll, as they say. And just like really concentrate on what it is that is most important and plant that seed along with this new moon. And
Yeah.
I think this is a very, very powerful new moon. Um, and we're in a time we just like I don't even know how to explain. We've been through so much, and so much intensity in such a small amount of time that I don't think we can truly appreciate where what we've just been through. And I think like a lot of things, and that includes, that includes 9/11 for those of us who are old enough. That includes uh the Pluto going into Capricorn. I was actually the
Yeah.
other the other day I was watching a show on Nancy Pelosi, of all people. It was a frontline thing on Nancy Pelosi, and they just talked about her whole career and the things that, she stood up for and all this other stuff. And then they got like when we had the collapse of the you know
Yeah.
the system, the whole financial system. I mean, we got as close as we ever did to a complete financial collapse of not just like the world's economy. It was going to be a thing. Of course, none of those people are in jail, of course, because
Yeah.
those people don't go to jail. Um,
Depression, the time during the depression would be something that might be an interesting thing because it feels like that. And I think it might be this Taurus energy feels like the economy, we're waiting for things to go lower.
well, it is Uranus and
Right.
it is Uranus and Taurus,
Yeah.
because Uranus and Taurus it was in Taurus in the I believe in the 30s. It's a disruption of the money and the resources and the yeah, 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 yeah. It's manifesting itself in a different way, I think, now. But that
Yeah.
was also the Dust Bowl. There was a lot of things that happened as far as environmentally, which is another piece of Taurus that we can't exclude from this conversation, right? I mean, Mother Nature definitely has something to say.
Yeah.
Remember, it's not nice to fool Mother Nature with the daisies around her head. Remember her
What
back in the day?
commercial was that?
It was for like margarine.
Sherman.
No, it
Oh,
was for margarine,
margarine.
which we should have just stuck with Mother Nature because margarine probably killed more people than butter ever did. So
And we had
that's
to
a whole
figure
nother
that out.
story.
We had to figure that out.
Oh, and of course, this is the cow, right? So this is cow things. So perhaps, if you're a meat eater, you'll have a little meat tonight. If you're not a meat eater, maybe you'll have a little yogurt or something,
Uh,
some milky milk thing. That could be it.
Cows, cows are
Um,
fascinating, and the whole Taurus energy is fascinating. And thinking about carrying that weight on four pins, and
and
how,
how many stomachs do they have? Do they have
right,
four stomachs?
right, and
Right?
having and using that high center of gravity to your best advantage. That's just crazy. I love watching. I mean, that could be something that would steer me off a road.
literally and figuratively, steer, get it? Never mind.
The
How
steer, they
punish
were,
of you.
yeah, they weren't as cute. They look kind of angry. The steer. I
Wow.
I wouldn't get closer to them, but that's this energy. It's like utilizing this to the best of your ability. And if you can't, you gotta lower it. Maybe just,
So you want to take a look at the chart? We'll look at the
yeah.
chart. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me share my
I looked at the chart. I looked at the chart and yeah, this is, are they ever gonna not be intense? I mean, this is a good thing though. These are resources and these are ways of being able to distribute resources.
well, well, that's actually Pluto. Like that's the Pluto and Aquarius energy. And and then sharing resources is Scorpio, actually. But let's
Or Taurus.
yeah, the opposite. Okay. Just give me a second here. I want to make it. Okay, here we go. Nice and big. All right. This is happening here May 7th, but in certain places it's happening. I think in England it's happening on the 8th, right? So in
Yeah,
Europe it's happening on the 8th. And so for us here on this side of the pond, as it were, we're in a 20/2 vibration, which is judgment. And England would be in a world vibration, which is the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new. So I'm from
right.
like England over is I believe the 8th. So this new moon is at 19 degrees of Taurus and a newly formed continent. Jane Rogers says a continent rising out of the sea, right? And so this is from a website. What I'm going to read to you is from a website, jamesburgess.com. He does Sabian symbols. If anybody wants to check it out, it's a great website. Um, Pure receptivity. When the mind is open, then spirit can enter. Pure, pure, pure receptivity that sponsors spiritual breakthrough. This is powerful. Now there was actually uh I don't if there was this degree was activated back in I think 2022 a number of times. I think Uranus like changed direction on this degree back then. And so it's been an active degree for a while, but of course this is a new moon, so we get to plant the seed, right? The mind is free of the constriction of staunch belief and moralistic attitudes, is free to be spontaneous. Then it is responsive to unconscious upwellings of inspiration, creating new thoughts out of which new realities can emerge and rise up. And
Your
this,
mind, stop judging yourself.
huh? Say
Open
again?
your mind. Open
Yeah.
your mind and stop judging yourself. The Taurus energy is about sensory perception.
And sensuality as well. I mean, Taurus is body. What does
Mm-hmm.
your body need? Are you taking care of your body? What are you craving? A lot of us sort of are in our heads and we spend so much time up in this place that sometimes we forget to be in our body
Yeah,
and your body may have some messages for you around
yeah.
this new moon. And of
What
course
do you crave?
what, honey? I'm sorry.
Crave. Maybe you crave something, and something that's innocuous. Like I knew I needed to get some lilacs for this new moon, but I really want to have some lilac tea tonight. I know I'm going to. It just is because, you know, I felt like I had to like forge for it because it's part of participating in the seasonal ritual.
Yeah, and that might be a good way for people to connect, is
Yeah,
to take something out of their garden, as long as you know that there's no pesticides on what you're taking. So you can't just go with somebody's and just pluck a rose and start making rose water with it. You have to know your sources, right?
well, at this point, I'm like plucking stuff that's close to the road, but they usually don't let the dogs you poop or pee on there. So it should
Right.
be, I'm still gonna drink it.
I'm sure you'll be fine. So, of course, I always look at Venus as well, because Venus does rule Taurus. And so, for those Tauruses out there or Venus rule signs, this is going to be pretty intense. Wherever the 19 degrees of Taurus falls in your chart is where you're going to plant a new seed. Now, 19 degrees of Taurus falls in your 12th house, right?
Yep.
So that's a connection to spirit.
Yeah.
Mine is actually in my 10th house, which is career and public standing. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, I become famous and not infamous. So we have Venus at 10 of Taurus, and of course, that's nice that Venus is in Taurus because Venus is ruled by Taurus. So she's in her dignity in Taurus. She's powerful in Taurus, and we need powerful feminine energy. We need the energy of nurturance, right? I mean, who makes all the milk? The cows, right?
Right. And all the nectar, the flowers right now, it's
Right.
directly related to what we're experiencing coming out in the earth right now.
So at 10 degrees of Taurus, we have the Sabian symbol of a woman watering flowers in her garden. So the question is, what are you watering? What seeds have you planted and what are you watering? Where are you putting your attention? Where are you putting your emotions, your feelings, right? Um, and then this is the chart for the US. Thank you everybody for being willing to look at the US chart with a 29 degrees of 30 degrees of Sag on the ascendant. Interesting, right? And then all of this happening in the fifth house. Although it looks like Venus might be in the fourth house, but the new moon conjunct Uranus and Jupiter in the
Yeah.
fifth house of children. And what are we seeing? We're seeing our children standing up for what they believe in, or sitting down for what they believe in.
That Sag that's the galactic center, right? And that's the
Yeah,
ascendant,
around there, like 26,
right?
27. I would close enough. It's Sag anyway, right?
Yeah.
Far away places even. Um,
Yeah. And this is our Pluto and Sag crowd that is causing and changing things. It's
and
it.
and when we look at the Sag ascendant, it's ruled by Jupiter, which is in Taurus. The other thing is we can't, if we look at the Chiron
Oh, Mercury.
and Mercury are conjunct. Now, I believe that the last new moon, and I could be wrong about this, if it wasn't the last new moon, it might have been the Pluto-Uranus conjunction, where Mercury and Chiron were together, only Mercury was retrograde. I should have looked back to see that. It just popped into my head.
Oh, the
So there
Mercury
was something,
one,
so
yeah.
there, right? I'm trying to think was about that new moon.
I don't know. Honestly, I have no clue. But yeah, that's a reminder. That's kind of like electric energy that's in your head. Like it's a sudden, to me, like a sudden awareness of, oh, all right.
Well,
That,
yeah, and the fact that Aries rules the head.
yep. Yeah.
So this is also a lot of like angry head, angry heads,
Bad
angry.
decisions. Yeah. This is bad. This could be bad decisions or
Um,
impetuous.
Saturn is trining this, is trining this new moon, right? And so that stabilizes things a bit. Yeah, so it's powerful energy. And Taurus is about our essential needs, and it's about life, and it's about land, and it's about security and shelter and food and water and just the basics. And yeah, so let me I'm gonna get out of this now for a sec, or maybe okay, here we go.
I like
So
that. Kind of closing the gap of the divide of our essential needs are available, our resources are available for everyone, and there's
Right.
actually enough.
Yeah, more than enough.
Okay, there's enough for everybody. There's enough for everybody. It really works that way. It's designed that way. So I hopefully this is helping to close the the big gap of realizing what we actually need.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, definitely, it definitely brings us down to um what is most vital in our
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And now
so
that changes.
we talked about some crystals. I mean, of course, you have your enormous rock. And then the other one was what? Phenocite? Is that what we
Yeah.
decided? Phenocite?
Phenicites or
Phen-
phenocite,
Phenocite? Yeah.
they could be pronounced either way because it's spelled with a CITE at the end or a KITE.
So I'm going to read what my book says about this. I
Okay.
actually love this stuff.
Drink, don't you? I absolutely do. I have some on this. This one like flew off the thing. And I'm like, oh, it makes sense right now because I'm making decisions and during this new moon time that's affecting the trajectory again. So definitely helped out. It's like a refreshing cucumber drink. I really need to get some.
Cucumbers, you mean? So here, I'm taking this from the Crystal Ally Cards Evolution Edition. Phenocite symbolizes initiation. The chakra is the crown, and the soul heart, which is the soul star, which is above the crown. So we have a crown, and then there's actually a more sort of galactic energy up there. And according in this deck, uh, this is considered a storm element, which means that it holds within it all the elements. Storm is like ether, in that
Yeah.
it holds all the elements together. And your affirmation, which I found very interesting, says, I now trust all I have learned and make my own empowered choices.
Yep. Yep.
So the message of Phenocite, which didn't it clunk you on the head or something? Wasn't it kind of like that experience?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Says when Phenocite appears in your cards or falling off a thing and clunking you in the head, thank God it was that and not the other thing. 'Cause we wouldn't be talking right now. The giant one.
The big bowl.
Yeah, the bowl.
Oh my
Says
God.
when Phenocite appears, you can be sure that an initiatory experience will soon follow. Phenocite is signaling that the time of storm is approaching. You will be tested by the elements of your life, and you may be asked to sacrifice those things that are keeping you from moving forward. Initiation requires you to call upon what you have already learned on your journey to successfully navigate the test that you will face. It is important to realize that you have already learned all that you need to know through this time of testing. You just need to call your wisdom and knowledge forth and make the right choices at this time.
Yeah.
So we know we have it. We have it in us. And even if you don't think you have it in you, you do, because especially if you stay connected to your higher source, because source always knows.
Mhm.
So source always knows. And that 20/2 vibration that comes along with this day, for those of us who have this new moon on the 7th, is a realization that we're more than just our physical bodies, that we are connected to spirit. We are waking up to the connections we have to our soul, and we're very powerful, but we need to align ourselves. We need to be aligned. We can't be distracted.
Yeah.
And that is a bit of a challenge in this. It's so easy, very easy to get distracted.
It's
And
easy to get distracted. It's hard to get out of a distraction sometimes. And you remember that source feeling, but you're still layered in this distraction because that's sort of propelling you along. That's just causing stress. And the sun and moon and Taurus, they don't like that.
no, Taurus
Not-
likes Taurus likes to stay put, actually. Taurus. Oh,
But you order ice cream. You don't have to get up off the couch or nothing. Yeah, it's one of those sort of, you know, grounding energies. It's been an incredible spring here in the city, and I'm just blown away by how everything changes every day.
I know. I was looking at a picture of my yard today, and just like a week, it went from like this. It's
Yeah,
just like it's in that like it's like right about here, and then over the next couple of weeks, it's going to be like, oh,
the rain you guys got has been such a gift. I know it's like a total pain when it's happening and it's like, oh, it's gonna end. But what it's gonna do to the colors of the fall leaves this year is gonna be crazy because of this spring rain.
yeah.
It's gonna be nuts.
I don't know. Well, it's definitely gonna be nuts, and whether we can blame it on the rain or not. Yeah.
Yeah,
The other stone, of course, that I love for Taurus is moss agate, which I have a moss agate. And I'm still wearing my bloodstone from the full moon that we did.
yeah,
And I also have some lepidolite. Lepidolite helps to calm your nerves. And don't we all need that? It's got lithium in it, so it kind of acts like a, ooh, and moonstone, of course, because as a Cancer, I don't feel enough. I need to wear moonstone. I don't know
yeah.
what I'm thinking, but
And moonstone should be on everyone's sort of like it's inexpensive and it's you refresh it like every 2 weeks. It's never really stationary.
yeah.
It moves fast and they can bounce. They're bouncy.
Yeah. And the one that I have has all the colors. It's white and black and
Oh,
peach.
peach.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
I
the
love
three stages, the
that.
crone, the mother, and the maiden. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, this is going to be a neat moon. It's going to be an interesting year for
I
sure.
think so. I think so. A massage would be a great thing to get on this moon, right? Some body work. It's a good moon for body work. It's a
Yeah,
good moon for a good meal. It's a good meal. It's a good moon for sitting in your garden, drinking flower water, whatever you got to do, right?
yeah, yeah. Lilac water. It is. It's stuff with that it things like grow and occur and bloom and ripen at a time when the body for some reason is depleting. The earth says, okay, it's winter, you don't get any vitamin C or you can get sick, but here's oranges.
Yeah, right.
You can have these. And it has the stuff that you need that's going to help you go, keep you going. So
Well, there's a whole field of study. I think I want to say it's biodynamics, but it might not be that, where what your body needs will grow in your yard. If you have a yard that you allow things to grow in, a lot of people either don't have yards or things are very, like if you're in a condo, that you can only have certain things.
yeah,
Yeah. So you have to
yeah,
have outside. Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, the stuff that sort of grows in your garden, if you're lucky enough to have your own piece of land, or a place, close by your house where you know that it's safe to pick things off of. It has everything you need.
yeah,
Everything you need grows right in your yard. Mother Nature will respond to you. And
yep,
I think that that's something that we need to reintroduce into our life, is communing with nature.
mhm,
And you can do it with just buy a plant and commune with the plant, talk to the plant, to see what, do things with the plant, or talk to the trees. It's all out there for you. And she definitely has something to say. And it's not just about earthquakes and tidal waves and Etna and what is that, volcanoes
yep,
down in Indonesia. It's not just, the earth talks to us in much subtler ways. Um, and we always look for one of the things I do is I look for signs from nature, like
it
what
gives them,
bird flew over my house? What's the first bird I see? What's the first animal I see in the morning?
yeah, yeah, it gives them to you. It tells you exactly where to find what you're looking for. Is mushrooms, looking
Yeah.
for that kind of thing. I mean, it's like we're right here. And it's really, it's gonna provide as long as we accept that we need to respect it, in the
Yes, yes.
future.
Yeah, it's like any relationship. If you don't show appreciation for a relationship that you're in, you don't have a relationship. You really, I mean, and not, relationships are hard. There are times when things are really good. There are times that things are really shitty. Excuse my language. You stick with it,
Yeah.
but it takes time, it takes commitment. And I think commitment is one of those things that Taurus is really good at. I mean, you can say what you want about Taurus, but they are freaking loyal until the cows come home,
Yeah.
literally and figuratively, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's why they say till the cows come home. Who knows?
Yeah.
I
Well,
know in Ireland there was a whole bunch of
Taurus,
cows.
yeah,
Everything was cows, cows and green, and the milk tasted like
it's
earth.
different. They
It
eat
was
what they
the most.
eat is what the milk tastes like. It's the same kind. It's the essence of what they're being fed,
Oh my God, it's amazing. It's
right?
amazing. My girlfriend, I'll just tell you this one quick story and then we'll have to kind of move on, I think. But we were driving and we're driving down the road, which is like this big. It should be this big, but it's this big. And so and you're on the wrong side of the road. But anyway, that's another story.
Be wrong
We're
side.
driving down the road, and we see a sign, fresh milk. We were like, oh, like you would have thought we saw a sign that said free Guinness. Like we would have made the same turn, I think. But it was like milk. And so we stopped and you could get this ice cold milk like practically right from the cows, right? You got like a little milk jug and everything. And we sat on the side of the road and we were like swigging milk
Mhm.
and you could taste the cows, you could taste
Yeah,
the earth, you could taste the what they were eating and
I
you
love that.
even smelled a little like cow manure because it was so fresh.
Yeah.
But it was such a wonderful experience. It was the
A
best
whole
milk I ever
different
drank.
thing. It's a whole different thing. You can't even like replicate it.
Yeah,
You can turn a recipe around and figure out what's in it, but something like that is an experience.
yeah.
And that's what Taurus is.
That's exactly what Taurus is. Taurus is our five senses. It's how we experience the world. And there's so much that we can like we were talking yesterday. I caught up on Gaza, which let me tell you, if you want to have a decent day or a decent week, you got to take those things in very like little mini doses if you can do it at all. You may not have to do it, but I felt I needed to have a sense of it because of all the stuff that
Yeah.
was going on in the colleges. And yeah, uh it's hard. And so it's easy to get caught up in that virtual world because it's really virtual because it's not happening in our backyard. And so and of course then there's a certain amount of guilt, right? You say like, well, look at me, I'm enjoying myself. I'm walking in my yard and all these people are suffering. There is a little guilt around that. And that is also
Yeah.
something I think we need to let go of because
And all the senses are heightened. And, even the sense that somebody else may be in the same room. All the senses are heightened. So you're introducing this stuff into your dome and you're walking around with it. And it's a sense that of dread or right? Well, why would you even call it that? The sense of like, wow, I feel like I'm not doing enough. Any sense you're gonna have is dialed up right now, I think.
right, right. And really the only thing you can do is is live your life. Live your life aware and in alignment and then visualizing because that's something we can do. We can switch off that channel and put a new channel and we can see mothers and children being safe and being fed. We can see the bombs not being dropped on people's heads. Where
Mhm.
it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been a hard 23 years, we'll say.
It has been, but and I'm lucky, and I know I'm lucky, and I'm humble enough to every once in a while recognize and say, I don't know why I picked this lifetime, but some people think I've been through, but honestly, I
I
see
know.
a lot of shit out there.
Yeah, I know.
But a lifetime that I would not have been okay choosing. I got lucky.
Every day I realize how much luckier I am than I was the day before. I mean, I honestly feel so grateful. And that's something else I want to just maybe wrap this up with, because we can't keep people too long. They have other stuff to do. They got to go get their massage.
Oh, make your dinner, listen to the girls talking. Come on.
Um,
Right.
Gratitude is the key to the kingdom. And gratitude is the superpower of Taurus. So be grateful for all the experiences, not just the good ones, but the ones that hurt, the ones that were painful, because those are the things that test you. Those are the things that create character. Those are the lessons. And if you learn your lesson, you don't have to do it again. Like it's like, okay, well, there was a lesson,
Yep.
right? So
Yeah.
gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And I have to say, I'm grateful for having you in my life, Ona.
Same.
So before we sign off, unless there's something else you have to share that is pressing.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I wrote down notes just as sort of like remind myself if I need to practice something or think of a theme. I wrote down to like lower your center of gravity, which is to ground yourself, very Taurian kind of thing. Like bring it down and listen to and feel and smell and taste and hear like everything that it's loud voice and not the, like voices, but like that move you forward. I think it's a heightened time to document some of that stuff too. That's
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We will be back together on Moon Shine on Ona's channel. That'll be the full moon in Sag. Woo, woo. That's perfect for you because you have all that Sag.
we'll see what kind of elixir thing is growing on the surface of the lake that we can mix them up.
All right, everyone. Have a wonderful new moon in Taurus. Be grateful for everything. We are all in this together, and together we shall rise up. Yes.
Yep.
Take care.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Love you.